Hello, how are
Hello,
you?
I'm good, how are you?
Nice to see you. I'm good, thank you very much. All right, so tell me about your experience here at William Patterson.
Where do I start? So I got here in fall of 2020, which if you recall, COVID, that was horrible.
That was during the pandemic, yeah.
Everything was like virtual, but TV Club was still kind of trying to go strong. I started off with the Fake News Network. I was a writer there. And then as things started to get more in person in the next school year, I got more involved in TV Club, still did some stuff for FNN. And then the end of my sophomore year is when we put together Very Late with Vaunt Leak. When it started, I was just a writer, and then the next year came, everyone graduated, classic, and then I became the sidekick, and for a while it was me and Vaunt doing that show, but throughout my, I'm news director at the radio station upstairs, worked at the technical services window here. I've got a lot of lore.
Yeah, of course, shout out to Vaunt. Shout out to Vaunt. I hope he's watching right now. Nice to see you, buddy. All right, now I know you just mentioned Brave New Radio. How did you get involved with Brave New Radio?
Yeah, so there's this big event at the beginning of every school year called ComFest. I had started working at the technical services window with the past news director, Marissa Banks, and she encouraged me to apply for the radio station. And I was like, okay, sure. And I applied, had an interview with the then, I don't know if he was a general manager or fill-in general manager, Seabass. He was pretty cool. I got in, me and Marissa rebuilt that news department, and for the rest is history. Yeah, the rest is history,
yeah. And as a news director at Brave New Radio, what is the craziest story, what is the craziest news story you've ever written? What was the craziest?
Wow, yeah, the craziest I've ever written. Well, I will tell you about more of a crazy experience. So about a year ago, there was, unfortunately in Patterson, there was a big issue with police violence, and I'm sure there still is, where the Attorney General had to step in and take over the police department, and there was a protest because the police unfortunately shot and killed a anti-violence activist. And me and the now program director of the station, Bella, went to a protest at City Hall in Patterson, and that was probably the craziest news story I've done. Probably the most important that I've felt, and I still follow the story. But going there, being in the heart of the whole protest at the town council meeting, it was a lot, but it came out pretty well, that story, and I'm very proud of it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. Now, when did you decide to get into comedy?
I got super into comedy when I was in high school. I discovered SNL. No, I started watching.
You'd be good at it.
Lauren. Anyway. Yeah, I started watching a lot of SNL sketches, and I fell in love with sketch comedy, and then I started watching a lot of stand-up comedians, especially John Mulaney at a time, and then I learned that
he's a very funny guy.
I learned that he was a writer for SNL, and I was like, wait, you could do that? And so I was like, actually, I want to do that. But then entertainment is it's a intense field to get into. I'm not a nepo baby, so it's kind of rough.
It's kind of rough. I mean, yeah, it's a tumultuous, to say the least. Yeah. Now, how were you able to come? Now, I know you've written so much stuff for FNN. As you mentioned, you've written for FNN. You wrote for Very Late. Now, how were you able to come up with that? How were we able to come up with that kind of stuff?
Yeah. For Very Late, a lot of the writing, the intense writing, was for the monologue. So we kind of just looked up. Honestly, what I do for the news department, just look up news, current events, and we try to make jokes about it.
Oh yeah, I think that's how the same thing that we come up with our monologues for the show.
And then for one-off sketches, the sketches that I do or that I've written are usually based off of archetypes of people and things that I can find little jokes in and exaggerate.
Like stereotypes and all that stuff. Oh yeah, that's very good. Now I know since the last time we were together, you recently got an internship at NBC.
Yes.
Wow, congratulations. How's that going so far?
It's going really well. I've been there since September. I'm interning in the news department at the network desk, so it's national. I've learned more than I could have ever expected to learn. When I went in, a lot of my experience with television is more technical production, and then of course comedy writing. So When I went in my first day, my coworker was like, "Yeah, so we basically cover the news of the entire Western Hemisphere," and I was like, "So okay." Casual, the entire Western Hemisphere.
Oh.
No big deal, no big deal.
Got it.
Going from like Brave New Radio,
Brave
where it's
New
just like Passaic County,
Yeah,
and then like
and
News
then
12,
go-
where it's just New Jersey,
Yeah, it's New Jersey,
to the Western Hemisphere.
Western Hemisphere,
No
yeah.
big deal.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't want to try, but yeah, and I know you're going to be leaving us. I know you're going to be leaving us soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really going to miss you. What will you miss? But enough about my stuff. What will you miss most since you're graduating? What will you miss most? What will you miss the most about being here at William Patterson?
Probably having the resources to do like whatever projects I want to do, being part of TV club, this whole,
Yeah,
everyone's here working together all the time. It's so much fun. We're always all together, and of
Yeah.
course, I'll really miss Al Clark.
Hey, can we get? No, we can't get. No, okay, all right. Anyway, but yes, the crew here, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
And Al, we love you, man. We love you, buddy. So I'm gonna miss you.
Oh,
I'm gonna miss you so much. But I really appreciate you coming on the show, and I'm actually kind of glad you took over the show because it's a proper send off, right?
yeah, it's a full circle moment.
Full circle moment. So
And thank you for having me.
thank you so much for coming on the show. Oh, and I really am gonna miss you so much.
I'm gonna miss you too.